Hello. Um, well, this is live, but there's no one here, so I'm going to talk to myself. But normally, what happens is people join, and hopefully, a few people will join. And then what I'm going to do here is like the last live stream, I suppose. We're going to do grammar, and it's called question answer grammar training. So what happens here is I'm an experienced teacher. I've been teaching English for many years, and I really focus on English grammar, kind of grammar training, grammar fluency training, and I do a lot of, focus on speaking fluency. I call them presentation lessons. I get students to study a documentary or study an article before the lesson. They have to study it, prepare some notes, come to class, give me a presentation, and then as they're giving me a presentation, I correct their English, correct their grammar, and I give them a lot of feedback. So for the one person who joined the stream, if you would like to practice some grammar, you can practice some grammar with me. It's called question answer grammar. Okay, and you can type your answer in the chat. Well, that person's gone. This happens a lot. So I'm just going to keep going. So let's just get into the grammar. What I want to do is I want to focus, I'm sure people are going to join later and then they can type their answers in the chat and then I can correct their grammar. But in the beginning, while I'm waiting for people, I'm just going to do it myself. Okay, so I'm going to ask myself a question and then I'm going to answer. And the goal is to try and use the same grammar from the question. Okay, so if I ask a past continuous, just try and answer with past continuous. Okay, so if you copy the grammar from my question, then I can force you into using all the different grammar patterns. Okay, I'm kind of like a personal trainer in a gym. Like we're doing drills. Okay, past continuous, past simple, present perfect, and I will explain the logic and the function of all this grammar. Oh, sulfur. Wow. I guess no, sulfur. Yeah, you were here last time, sulfur. Sulfur. Can you hear me okay? No, I only started 2 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago. Wait, sulfur, I'm trying. Yeah, Indonesia. I think I remember you're from Indonesia. If I get this wrong, I'm sure. Yeah, you were doing the IELTS, I think. You were planning to do the IELTS exam. Cool. Wait, let me see. So cool. Okay, sulfur, let's go. Let's go for grammar, yeah? Ready to go? Because I suppose when people join, they can join in as well, but me and you can do question answer grammar if you want. Well, it's kind of my plan for this video, so. And especially with you, I remember your grammar was quite good, so I will push you into some pretty challenging grammar. But we can start easy. Okay, let's go. Let's go. So just when I ask you a question, just identify just use the same grammar that the question uses. Yeah. If I ask past continuous, just answer past continuous. Okay, I talk too much. Let's go. So I always do holidays, but let's try a movie. Uh, what is the best movie you have seen? What is the best movie you have seen in your life? The best Jumanji. Wow. The original Jumanji with Robin Williams. 'Cause I think there's a new one. Oh, cool, cool. Yeah, yeah, that was a great movie. Kirsten Dunst, I think. Um, but anyway, okay. So the grammar is good. Yeah, the grammar is good. So here's a question. Here's a question, Sulfur. What's the difference between the best movie I've seen is Jumanji, and the best movie I ever saw was Jumanji? So what's the difference between present perfect and past simple here? The best movie I have seen is Jumanji, or the best movie I ever saw is Jumanji. Is there a difference? No difference in the to my knowledge. Yeah, exactly. You are totally correct. There's no difference because I'll try explain it as best I can. There's two ways to well, let's just take two ways to talk about the past. Let's look at the present perfect and the past simple. When we don't mention time, it could just be in my life or recently, but we're not talking about a specific mark in the timeline. Like, for example, last Tuesday is a specific mark, in 1998 is a specific mark in the timeline. We're not talking about a specific mark in the timeline. We're just talking about the past. You can actually use past simple and past continuous. No, no. What am I saying? Past simple and past continuous? No, no. Sorry, forget that. You can use present perfect and past simple. Sorry. So so both of these are correct. The best movie I have seen is Jumanji in my life. Perfect. The best movie I ever saw is was Jumanji. Perfect. You can use past simple and present perfect when we don't mention time. It can just be in my life or recently. Okay, but now I should just explain this now. The rule is, well, maybe I'll ask you. If we mention a specific mark in the timeline, like I saw well, here's the okay, let me ask you the question. When did you see Jumanji? Yeah, when exactly? Which year? When did you see Jumanji? The last time? Oh, let's say, yeah, let's say the last time. When was the last time you saw Jumanji? So you got to copy the grammar, yeah? When was the last time you saw Jumanji? It was last month, actually. I make a habit of watching it every year. Haha. Yeah, Jumanji was a great movie. Um, yeah, I think I was 10 maybe when I saw it. Okay, so let's look at the grammar. Sorry, so for this, I remember the last stream, I think I was talking too much. I think for this one, I'm going to try and make myself focus, just like stay on grammar. But it was last month, actually. I make it. Okay, okay, so past simple, yeah? When did you see Jumanji last? It was last month. So was past simple. So, last month is a mark in the timeline. Okay. So let me ask you, is it correct or incorrect to say I have seen Jumanji last month. Is that correct or incorrect? I have seen Jumanji last month. Oh, my hair is crazy. Exactly, because when we use the present perfect, we never use the present perfect. We never mention the present perfect when with a specific time. It's just, yeah, I have seen that in my life, or I have seen that recently. The rule is when we don't talk about a specific mark in the timeline, you can use past simple and past continuous. God, I'm getting these names wrong. Let me go slowly. The rule is when we don't mention a specific time, we're just looking at the past or recently, we can use past simple and present perfect, which is the best movie I have seen is Jumanji, or the best movie I ever saw is Jumanji. Okay, so when there's no specific time mark in the timeline, we can use past simple and present perfect. But the rule is when we mention a specific time, a specific mark in the timeline in the past, then only past simple. Okay, so you could say I saw Jumanji. The last time I saw Jumanji was last month was past simple, or I saw Jumanji last month. I saw past simple. We cannot say I have seen Jumanji last month. Um, okay, so let's keep going. Next question. Sorry, I have to get used to this. Okay, so now we're talking about, now we're going to zoom into this specific time last month when you saw Jumanji. Okay, so next question. Where were you watching Jumanji? Where were you watching the movie? And we'll get to some more complicated grammar after this. Where were you watching Jumanji? I was watching it. Yeah, yeah. I was watching it in my room with my friends. Cool. Perfect grammar. That's very perfect. So I was watching it, the movie, in my room with my friends. Okay, here's a question for you. What's the difference between I watched Jumanji in my room with my friends and I was watching Jumanji in my room with my friends? What's in this situation? What's the difference between the past simple and past continuous? Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Because whenever we talk about, how would I explain this? So, in the beginning, it was very unspecific. What is the best movie you have ever seen? And you said the best movie I have ever seen is Jumanji. Okay. Unspecific. After that, we zoomed in to the timeline in the past, and you mentioned a specific mark in the timeline. You said last month. So I saw Jumanji last month. Now, what we're doing is we're zooming into this moment when you were watching Jumanji. Okay, we're zooming into this specific time in your life. Okay, so all the details of this story that we're zooming into on the timeline, we can describe all the details with the past simple and the past continuous. Okay, now the thing is, if there's duration or a process, there's no difference between the past simple and the past continuous. You can say, I watched this movie with my friends, or I was watching the movie with my friends. Okay, because the movie is 2 hours long, something like that. So you can actually use both. Okay, so, okay, let's go for more questions. So, what did you eat during the movie? And if you didn't eat anything, you can still answer like negative, or you can lie. And so, what did you eat during the movie? If there's anyone else in this live stream, you can type your answers as well. So what did you eat during the movie? I was eating chips with my friends, especially on it. Yeah, I should comment on the other grammar you're using. I was eating chips with my friends. Okay, very detailed answer, but it's good. I was eating chips with my friend's special onion dip, which meant we got food poisoning the next day. Unbelievable. Food poisoning. Food poisoning is a gerund, yeah, but it's yeah, we got food poisoning. It's the concept. It's the concept of food poisoning. The gerund can be used as a concept, but I won't go into gerunds too much here. But the thing is, I have to be a little tough. I have to be like a tough personal trainer. The question was actually past simple. So, what did you eat during the movie? Past continuous is correct, but what I'm trying to do is I'm always trying to force you into using the grammar from the question. But in normal life, that's correct. But if you were to answer, what did you eat during the movie? Oh yeah, and is that really true? Is that true? You got food poisoning? Okay, yeah, we ate some chips. Cool. Exactly, past simple. So, is there a difference in this situation between I was eating chips? Well, let's just say we were eating chips and we ate some chips. Is there a difference in function? Okay, so is there a difference between we ate some chips during the movie and we were eating some chips during the movie? The continuous represents a Yeah, but you got to remember that whenever we talk about a process or an action with duration in the past simple and the past continuous have the same function. So, you know, what was it? Yeah, do you remember we watched the movie in my room? We watched past simple. We watched the movie in my room, and we were watching the movie in my room. The movie is 2 hours long. So there's a process, there's duration. We can use past simple and past continuous. We watched or we were watching. When you're eating, you're eating for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, so you could say we ate some chips and we were eating some chips. Both are correct because I don't know why. It's just that whenever there's duration or process, they have the same function. Like, for example, I studied engineering in university. It was 3 years long. I studied engineering. I can also say I was studying engineering in university. In function, there's no difference. But okay, let me get to some more interesting grammar. Okay, because I remember your grammar was pretty good. But look, just think of this as it's story A. Okay, where we zoomed into a mark on the timeline, and this is story A. All the details of this story can be described using past simple and past continuous. We were watching in my room. We watched in my room. I was eating chips. Um, I was watching with my friends. We were watching on a 70-inch flat screen TV. We watched. Uh, we 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 used the latest surround sound technology to watch the movie. We used, passable. So we can just keep going and going and going, describing this event with the past simple and past continuous. But now there is a difference between the past simple and the past continuous only when we're talking about a very quick action relative to the main story. Okay, so we were watching the movie in my room. That's kind of a long, it's 2 hours long movie. But the question here, next question is, just pretend you watched the movie at at a specific time. So just make it up. What time did the movie start? What time did the movie start? So what time did the movie begin? Oh, okay. The movie started at 7 p.m. Okay, here's a question. So remember before, we were watching in my room. I was watching with my friends. We ate chips. We were eating chips. Is it possible here to say the movie was starting at 7 p.m.? The movie was starting at 7 p.m. Is that correct or incorrect? Past simple is correct, but is past continuous correct here? The movie was starting at 7 p.m. Is that correct or incorrect? I don't think 7 p.m. Yeah, exactly. The way I explain it is that the movie is 2 hours long. You were watching in your room, you were watching with your friends, or you watched with your friends. You ate chips, you were eating chips. So that's the duration of the event. And relative to the duration of that event, the movie starting, it's a quick action relative to the full event. Yeah. So, yeah, any quick action inside the long process, I would use past simple. There's a few examples like that, or there's other things like, for example, if you said, my friend dropped a glass of OJ, orange juice. My friend dropped a glass of orange juice. You cannot say she was dropping the glass of orange juice because when you drop it's too quick. Yeah, she dropped the glass, and it's the same thing when like the movie starts. It's a quick action, so you cannot say the movie was starting. Okay, um, next question. Next question. Next grammar. What had you been doing that day before the movie? What had you been doing that day before the movie, or that evening? What had you been doing that evening, that afternoon before the movie? So what had you been doing? Had you been doing? Okay, so what had you been doing? This is tough for me. I still struggle with yeah, but that's good. I see. Actually this is past perfect continuous. Yeah. Because past perfect is what had you done? What had you done? So it's only had and then third form, do, did, done. What had you done? So that's past perfect. Past perfect continuous is what had you been doing. Yeah. So, okay, this is a tough one. I still struggle with the past. I still struggle with the past perfect, but I'll give it a shot. That's good vocabulary. I had been doing some errands for my mom. The grammar is perfect. So what that means is, so remember, there's a mark in the timeline. It's last month. You're watching Jumanji with your friends in your room eating chips. So just think of this as story A, okay? Story A, it's the big main topic. It's the big main story. Just, and then you can talk about something that had been happening before this big main story that is A. So I like to call that B, story B. Story B, it's a small piece of information that had been happening only until story A, not until now. It had been happening until the point when you watch the movie. I don't know why I like to think of it as a shark. You know, so far, are you still here? If you're here, but yeah, I think you're still here. Just I don't know why, but I like to think of it as in the ocean you get those big sharks with the little fish. Okay, cool. Sorry. Um, in the ocean you get those sharks with those small little fish. Yeah, the small little fish swim around and eat the food from their teeth. So just think of story A as that's the big shark. Okay. The big shark, that's the big story of I was watching the movie, I was eating chips, I was watching with my friends, etc. Story B, it's like that little fish swimming around the shark. Story B, I had been helping my mom with some errands. It's only extra nice information to support the main story A. Okay? It gives context to the main story A. Because a lot of students, sometimes when I teach students, I had been doing, and then they will try and create story A, the main focus, the main story, using I had been doing this, I had been doing that, I had been doing this. They'll say, um, last month I had been watching Jumanji in my room, I had been watching with my friends, I had eaten some chips, I had etc etc. This is wrong. The main story, everything should just be past simple, past continuous, and then just small extra information. I had been doing something before. So, um, wow, I think a mosquito. There's always one mosquito during while I'm doing this, and I think it got me. But yeah, incredible. So here's a new question: had you ever seen Jumanji before this? So, for can you just answer that? I'm gonna go and get my electric tennis racket, and if I see this mosquito, I'm gonna get it. But the question is, had you ever seen Jumanji before this? I'd seen it before. Yeah, yeah. Hello. Okay. So yeah, I had seen it before last month. Exactly. So you're just giving me context B for the main story that is A. Yeah. So it can be, so what you, the grammar there is past perfect. Yeah. I had seen it before. Okay, so I have context for the main story, or and that you had been helping your mom. Okay, let's go for some more interesting grammar. So, do you remember I said there's story A, and then there's B that we can say that happened before story A, but then there's also future from that point. So yeah, we didn't do this last time. So from now into the present, I can say will or going to. Let's just do I will do something or I'm going to do something. So let's just say I will sleep. I will, yeah, I will sleep after this live stream, or I'm going to sleep. Okay. So we take that logic and then we go to the past, and we use the same logic, but it's just from a point in the past. So it's a future intention from a past point. So let's just say, yeah, the past point is last month you were watching Jumanji. Okay. So the question here is, see, but will becomes would in the past. Would, it's the same function as will from now into the future, but would, it's will, but it's from a point in the past. It's like future from a past point. So but the thing is, it's a little bit tricky because you have to use a thinking verb first and then would. Okay, let's just try first. Let's see if you get it. So, what did you? Okay, so you were watching Jumanji with your friends. What did you plan you would do after the movie that evening? What did you plan you would do after the movie, or what did you think you would do after watching Jumanji, like that evening? So this is difficult grammar. What did you plan? See, plan is the thinking verb. Yeah. What did you plan you would do after the movie? Just looking for this mosquito. Incredible. Okay, it's tough. Yeah. So it's what did you plan you would do? So I'll just give you a hint. It has to start with I planned or we planned. Oh, okay, cool. Hmm. I planned that I would go hang out with the guys afterwards. Cool. Exactly. Okay, I'll break this down slowly. So when we use, just think of would, it's like will, but it's the same as will, but it's in the past. Okay. So, but I don't know why. I really don't know why, but we have to use a thinking verb. Okay. So I planned. Perfect. Thinking verb first. We could say I planned. Well, I planned, I thought, I decided, I hoped, I expected. Okay, any of these. So I planned that I would go hang out. I decided that I would go hang out with my friends. I hoped I would go hang out with my friends. Okay, hoped, decided, thought, thinking verbs. Okay, so that is perfect. So what happens after this is, yeah, sure. Okay, I have to speak quietly now because people are sleeping. But hopefully you can still hear. What was I saying? Okay, so see what happens here is I only know that you hoped that or that you planned that. I don't know if you did it. So normally after this kind of grammar, you have to clarify what happened, and it's either but this negative thing happened, or so I did this positive thing. Okay. So could you just clarify what happened? So I planned that I would, let's try negative first. I planned that I would go hang out with the guys afterwards, but now you have to clarify with the past simple. But something happened. That's unbelievable. Okay, so tell me, like, okay, so I planned that I would go hang out with the guys afterwards. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I planned that I would go out, but suddenly it rained. Okay, yeah, so you clarified, like, but this negative thing happened, and it's past simple. Normally it's past simple. So that's perfect. So it can go two directions. It could say, but this negative thing happened, or so I did what? What could you say that is positive? That, yeah, you actually did that. I planned that I would go out with my friends, so, or and. I planned I would go out with my friends, and maybe so. So is better. I planned I would go out with my friends, so you just have to clarify. So we decided to just go out to our usual spot in the city. Cool. Which city, Sulfur? Oh, damn. I think you said it last time. I can't remember. So we decided to just go to our usual spot in the city. Well, okay. So let me. Oh, Kidiri. Well, I'll look it up after this. Okay, so let's go for another one. So, we can say, like, in the present, we could say I will go out with my friends, or I am going to go out. So now we can also use, like, am going to, but in the past we say was going to. And it means this, like, I will go out with my friends after this class, and I am going to go out with my friends. They actually have the same meaning. A lot of students tell me, like, oh, my teacher said will is for this, and it's for beliefs and values, and then going to is only for this situation. You just really, it's like I have to do this to all students, and I just really have to say there's no difference between them. As a native speaker, for me, there's no difference. Yeah, I'll go out with my friends later. I'm gonna go out with my friends later. In function, there's no difference. Okay, so let's take that, though, these two pieces of logic, let's say will and going to, and then take it to the past. I thought I would go out with my friends, but here's the new question: after the movie, what were you gonna do? Yeah, what were you gonna do after the movie? What? See, in the present, it's I am going to, but in the past, what were you going to do after the movie? So what? See, this is still, it's future from a past point. What were you going to do after the movie? And if you want, you could say but or so here as well. Like, but this negative thing happened, or so I did this positive thing. So what were you going to do after the movie? And if anyone joins the stream, you can jump in as well, and you can start. If anyone joins this live stream, you can, when I ask a question, just you can try and answer with the same grammar as the question. You know, if I ask okay, I was going to hang out with my friends, but one of them got hit by a pedicab. It was hilarious. A pedicab? What's a pedicab? I'm gonna Google that. Pedicab. Okay. So hopefully your friend is still with us. He's still living. It wasn't okay. Hopefully it was like a small hit. Yeah. Oh, I'm very tired. But I was going to hang out with my friends, but one of them got hit. Okay, got hit. Okay, I'll go into that grammar another time. But the grammar's good. It's the same function as we, would. But you have to use thinking verb. We decided we would hang out, or I decided I would hang out with my friends. Is this kind of really the same as I was going to hang out with my friends? But this negative thing happened, or so I did this positive thing. So, okay, let's change the grammar now, because you've basically learned 90% of the past tense grammar. Like everything here, that's basically 90% of storytelling in the past. Every time you tell a story, you know, or maybe with a dialogue with a friend, the friend will normally start with "Have you ever?" or "Has this ever happened to you?" Present perfect, unspecific, and then we go specific, mark in the timeline, story A, all the details, past simple, past continuous. B would be the information before that happened before A, something had been happening or something had happened before A. And then we've got future from a past point. We decided we would do something, or we were going to do something, but or so. There's actually one more there. You can actually also do speaking verb with would. So, you could say, I told my friend I would not hit him with the pedicab, but I hit him. Okay. I told, speaking verb, I told my friend I would not, would is like will, yeah? I told my friend I would not, but I did. Wow, now 43 minutes into the stream. Now we're getting more people. But now I have to go to sleep. But I think you know what I mean, Sulfur. Yeah? You can use a speaking verb or thinking verb with would. I told my friends I would. I speaking verb or thinking verb, I decided I would. I planned I would. Let me think of the other grammar. Okay, let's quickly switch to some other past tense grammar, and this would be, let's go for, what do we go for? Let's go for modals in the past, because they're pretty interesting. Wow, now 5 people. Okay, more people watching. Okay, if anyone is watching, you can join in. Okay, we're doing question answer grammar. When I ask a question, you can type your answer in the chat, but your answer, just try and copy the grammar from the question. Okay, type your answer in the chat and I will correct your grammar. So let's go for modals in the past. Okay, so modals: might, could, should, must, may, these ones, yeah. So for the future, it's normally just modal infinitive, like tomorrow I might watch a movie. I must watch a movie, no choice. I should watch a movie, it's the best thing. I could watch a movie, that's an option. Wow, now there's more people watching. So yeah, for the future, it's just modal infinitive. You can also do modal continuous, like tomorrow I might be watching a movie. I cannot meet up. I might be watching. Okay, so it's modal infinitive or modal be ing. Oh, past modal. This is yeah. Yeah, past modal is pretty tough, but future and present modal, these are easy. Present modal, it's the same thing. It's modal infinitive. Like generally, I should study Chinese more. I should study more Japanese. Okay, I should infinitive. I should study. But you can also do continuous present, like, oh, where's Jim? Jim might be Jim might be getting treated in hospital. Well, that's a because he got hit with a pedicab. No, let's just say Jim might be sleeping at the moment in hospital. So Jim might be sleeping right now, present. But now, modals in the past. Modals in the past, it changes. It's modal have verb number 3. So should have done, could have done, must have done. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. He should have been more careful. Exactly. So, okay, tell me now. This is difficult grammar, Sulfur. This is very emotional grammar. Quite depressing grammar. Okay, so tell me some regrets you have in life. Okay, doesn't have to be real. You can make it up. You can lie. But what are some things you should have done in your life? What shouldn't you have done, or what should you have done? You know, like for me, I should have eaten healthier food when I was younger and not so much crap, junk food. Um, or what should you have done when you hit your friend with a pedicab? So just remember, it's modal, have, and then verb number 3. Do, did, done, should have done, should have studied, should have exercised, should have, or shouldn't have. I shouldn't have. What? I don't know. I have to be careful with my answers. Um, yeah, what? You know, I should have exercised more. Now it's getting pretty difficult to even begin. Exactly. Yeah, so when I was younger, I should have exercised more. Exactly. Sometimes in movies and TV shows with natives, when we're being very, very casual and lazy, to be honest, we say I should have exercised more. Like I'll type. It sounds something like I should have exercised more. It's wrong. I should have exercised more. But when we're speaking very quickly, it sounds like I should have exercised more. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have. Uh, okay, tell me some things. Yeah, so exercised is third form. Yeah. Tell me some things you could have done better when you were in your life. No, wait, no. Let me change that. What's the difference between I should have exercised more and I could have exercised more? Okay, what's the difference between I should have exercised more and I could have exercised more? Do they have the same meaning? Is one of them stronger? What do you think? And if anyone is here, you can join in the chat. So the question is, what is the difference between I should have exercised more in my life and I could have exercised more in my life? Sulfur, you saved me. You're the only one talking to me. I've got 2 people watching, but I'll keep going. So what's the difference? What's the difference between I should have exercised more? I could have exercised more. So this is could. Yeah, I could have. Could have. Missed possibility. Should have. I don't know how to explain this one. Probably just like you said. Yeah, should. It's the stronger feeling. It's like, oh man, like it's a stronger feeling. It's stronger regret. You feel bad. You feel worse. Could have. It can be regret. Like I could have. I could have exercised more. It's just a little nicer. It's nicer. It's easier, and when we use could, the feeling is more option. Like that was an option. I could have exercised more. Like it just has the feeling of option, but it could also be regret with a certain tone. With a certain tone, you could be, I could have exercised more. Incredible. Yeah, I suppose, but it's just a little nicer than I should have. I should have exercised more. Okay, so now we get to some pretty weird ones, and it's might, may, and must. So these are very different because it's not we're not talking about regret. Now we're trying to guess something that happened in the past. Okay, so we're trying to guess. Okay, I have to think of a situation to give you. Okay. Um. We might scare other viewers with this complex grammar. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is more complicated grammar, but honestly, it's not that easy. I mean, it's not that difficult if you just do it a few times. Like in the beginning, it's complex. Yeah, it is complex. But you just, I don't know. I think I'm aiming for maybe more intermediate English uh, students. But even beginners, I mean, even beginners should really, see, the thing is, everything that you've done here, this is 95% of past tense grammar. So all we have to do is we have to do this many, many, many times. There's not much more past tense grammar. It's just we have to repeat, repeat, repeat these few specific structures, and then it'll be easy. First time it is scary, but yeah, no. See, okay, let's go for might, but in the past. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, sorry, you're just practicing the grammar. Um, Now let me think of a situation. Okay, let's pretend you're walking down the street. Okay, in your city, you see your friend. He's on the ground. He's holding his knee, and he's suffering. Okay, so now before you ask him, before you talk to him, you're talking to your friends, and so your friends say like, "Oh, what might have happened? What might have happened?" Because we have a situation, but now we're trying to guess about what might have happened to cause this situation. So yeah, what might have happened to your friend? He's on the ground. He's on the pavement. He's I mean, he's not dying, but he's holding his knee. Yeah, and he's suffering. What might have happened? What might have happened? Anyone else want to join in? If anyone's watching, you can join in. So what might have happened? What might have happened? See, it's not might infinitive. It's not might. See, when we're talking in the past, it's might have third form. Oh, he might have tripped on a giant Lego. Yeah, it happens. It happens. He might have tripped, or is he there? And if you want to sound more native, might have. He might have. He might have tripped on a giant Lego. And then we get very lazy and we say he might have. He might. This is a very lazy version. You only hear in casual spoken English. He might have tripped, blah, 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 on a Lego. He might have tripped. Okay, what's the difference between he might have tripped? Oh, he may have tripped. What's the difference between might and may? He might have tripped or he may have tripped. Okay, so the question is, what's the difference between he might have tripped on a Lego and he may have tripped? He may have tripped. I think might is stronger than may in terms of possibility. Okay, I'm sorry to say, Sulfur, but there is no difference. Maybe you're seeing a pattern. Whenever I ask you what's the difference between, very often there's no difference. But yeah, there's no, well, no, there is a difference here. In terms of possibility, they mean the same. They have the same possibility. He might have tripped, he may have tripped. The only difference is that may is more polite and more formal. For me, I just think of the queen, you know, a queen, wherever the queen is, or the king, he may have tripped. Yeah, it's just polite, very, very formal language. Yeah, I just think about rich, posh people using may. Unless you're just a regular nice person that wants to be polite, you can use it. He may have tripped. He might. Yes, yeah. Okay, so same possibility. Now, last one. Oh, okay. When do we use much or many? Javago. At the moment, well, okay. The quick answer is many is for countable objects. There are many chairs. Chairs is a countable noun. There's one chair, two chairs, three chairs, four chairs, five chairs. There are many chairs. Much, we use it when we cannot count objects like air. I cannot say one air, two air, three air, four air. Well, we cannot use much. There's much. Hold on a second. There is much water. I think we could. I would say a lot for countable objects. There is a lot of water. There is a lot of air. Okay, there is a lot of rice. These are uncountable. I wouldn't use much for uncountable that much. But this is a separate topic, Jivago. Sorry, I don't want to go too off because with Sulfur, what we're doing is we're doing question answer grammar. So I'm going through all the past tenses and we're on the modals in the past now. And what I do is I ask a simple question and then just try and answer, try and type your answer using the same grammar as the question. So if I ask, what were you doing yesterday? Past continuous. You can answer, I was watching 5 movies. Okay. Past continuous. Okay. And I'll explain the function. But let me just get back to Sulfur. So I think might is stronger than may in terms of possibility. But Javago, one day I hope to cover much and many and countable and uncountable. But anyway, Sulfur, the last modal I want to show you is must. So might and may. He might have tripped and he may have tripped. They're a guess about the past. There's a situation and you're trying to guess what might have happened, what may have happened. Okay. There's one last one and it's must. And this is a tough one. I'll give you a sentence and you tell me what you think it means. Like, so your friend, you're walking down the street, your friend, he's holding his knee, he's suffering, and then you say to yourself, do you know what? He must have tripped. He's always tripping. He must have tripped again. He must have tripped over that big piece of Lego. Look at that big Lego piece right there. He must have tripped over it. What's the feeling of must? Is it is it a guess? Is it a regret? Is it some weird obligation? Where are you from, Jivago? Oh, Jivago, you can answer this as well. Ah, a lot of people are joining now. Well, good luck. Good luck with your PTE exam at the end of February. Prasida. Prasida, if you want grammar help, if you go back in this video, me and Sulfur have been doing. Oh, France. Oh, cool. I have a few students from France. Sorry, let me get back to Prasida with your PTE exam. I mean, if you want to review the grammar, just go all the way back to the beginning of this live stream and you can watch from the beginning. Me and Sulfur, we covered all the past tenses with question answer grammar. And we covered 95% of past tenses. But you can join in now if you want. The question is, if you're walking down the street, you see your friend, they're on the ground, they're holding their knee like and there's a big Lego piece on the pavement. Now you're trying to guess what happened. So if I say, he must have tripped over that big Lego piece, what is the feeling? Okay, so Sulfur said, it's certainly, maybe it happened several times before, that's why I could be sure. Okay, sorry, I'll read slower. Sulfur says, it's certainty. Maybe it happened several times before, that's why I could be sure of what happened to him. Exactly, Sulfur. When we use must in the future and the present, it's obligation. I have to do that, no choice. Tomorrow, I must buy some carrots. Tomorrow, hello, Assad. Everyone's joining now. Guys. Okay, tomorrow I must do this. Okay, there's no choice. I have to do it. Okay, generally, I must study more Chinese. I must study more Japanese. No, there's no choice. Like obligation, I have to do it. But must in the past, it's a guess. Essentially, it's a guess about something that happened, but it's a very, very strong guess. It's a very certain guess, like Sulfur said. Yeah, I have more friends. 1 hour later, I would love to continue, but it's so late here. Oh wow, Nepal. Let me just repeat. Let me just cover this grammar. So he must have tripped over that Lego piece. Incredible. It's a strong guess about the past because you're sure. You know Jim. You know him. He's always tripping. He's always falling over pieces of Lego. There's a piece of Lego there. He did it again. He must have tripped over that again. Okay. So sulfur, we covered a lot of past tense grammar. That is quite a lot. It's most of it. It's most of the past tenses. We still have would and used to, for regular routine habits. Let me cover those too. Maybe they'll be the last ones. But let me just read this. Prasida, sorry for my pronunciation. It's always terrible. I'm from Nepal and just found your stream randomly and joined. By the way, I want to improve my English vocabulary and fluency. Please guide me. Give me some tips. The best, I'll give you some tips here. When I get a lot of students. I have a lot of students. I always see there's two kinds of students. The frustrated, I get a lot of frustrated students. Like they're very, very frustrated. They don't know how to improve their fluency. And what a lot of them do is they do very academic English. They watch vocabulary videos. They study grammar books. They take classes. They listen to BBC English. Welcome to BBC English today, blah, blah, blah. So if a lot of students get stuck in very academic grammar and it's very boring, so they lose motivation very, very quickly. And they come to my class and I've had some students crying in class, because they're so frustrated. They're trying to become fluent, but they're just studying grammar books and they're just doing things in a very, very academic way, and it just doesn't work sometimes. Honestly, the best thing I've ever seen is what I do is I go to poly polyglot communities on YouTube, or let's just say language enthusiasts. I try and find them. I try and find their YouTube channels. It always seems to be the same pattern. The people who get really, really fluent, or even with my students, when the only time I really see a huge obvious improvement is when students get addicted or obsessed with certain things in English. Like they start watching a TV series. Like I had students say, I asked them, how did you become fluent in English? Oh, I was watching Gossip Girls. Oh, I was watching Sex in the City. Oh, I was watching Friends. You know, they just got addicted or obsessed with these TV shows. Or with other students, it's movies. They just love watching English movies, American movies, and they get obsessed and it gives them energy. Or students start listening to podcasts in English, and it's really just consuming the language as much as possible and enjoying the process, enjoying the ride, like learning to love the process. Because the biggest problem is a lot of students feel obligation. I have to learn English. It's boring. I don't want to, but I have to learn it to get a new job. And I don't think it's the right way to do it because it's a very boring way and you lose your motivation. You have to find some way to love the process. So yeah, maybe everyone in the chat, like, tell me what are the how would I say, how do you consume the language? How do you consume English? Is it movies? Is it TV shows? Is it music? Is it books? Is it podcasts? Is it YouTube videos? Is it articles? That there was a famous blog years ago. It was called All Japanese All the Time, AJAT, All Japanese All the Time. And the concept was simple. It has to be all Japanese all the time to become fluent in Japanese. So I think it's the same with English. It's just it has to be all English all the time if you really want to improve fast. Hello, Asad. Good to meet you. So yeah, maybe type your method. What is the one thing that helped your English the most? Because for me, with students, I'm always trying to. I'm like a cultural guide in a way. I feel like I have to get them addicted or obsessed with certain topics in English, and I send them off. I say, go research that history topic. Go off and research this piece of technology news, or go and watch these movies. Go and listen to these podcasts, and I just send my students off in interesting directions, and they come back to class and they tell me everything they learned about Western culture or British culture, American culture. uh, so yeah, so who does that? Does anyone here do that? Are you studying English in the very academic way, or with grammar books and textbooks, or do you watch movies in English? Do you watch TV shows in English? Do you read books in English? Do you listen to music in English? Because I really think the best way I've seen is when you gotta learn to love, enjoy the process. Um, Let me just, yeah, sulfur. If you're still here, good job with the grammar. Yeah, that's another way to improve. I believe this question answer grammar is a good way to improve fluency because it's simple repetition of simple grammar patterns. Repeat, 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 repeat. These simple tenses with enough repetition. Yeah, suggest me some serious documentaries or any other thing you can make my English best and shouldn't be boring. Yeah, that's the key. It shouldn't be boring. And I don't really have the answer because everyone has their own interests, their own passions. So, I mean, a lot of people tell me Friends, they watch the TV show Friends. Some people tell me Sex and the City, others, uh, for me, I used to watch, well, like a TV series I would recommend is The Sopranos. The Sopranos. um, The Wire, Lost. For movies, do you know what could be a good thing? Go to IMDb and just search for best 90s movies in IMDb. IMDb. Search for best 80s action movies on IMDb, etc., etc., etc. And you'll just get big long lists of the best movies of the 90s, the best movies of the 80s, the best Game of Thrones. Yeah, exactly. Whatever is interesting. It's like good food. You got to look at English learning like it's good food. You don't want to eat toast every day. You want a good steak. Okay, so Game of Thrones, it's a good steak. The Sopranos, it's a great Napolitano pizza. Um, what am I talking about? Let's do one more. Sulfur. No, podcast. Let's talk about podcasts. Are there any good podcasts you listen to, Sulfur, that help your English, or anyone here? I heard Luke's English podcast. That's always a favorite for our students. Luke's English podcast. I'm giving him free advertising, but everyone tells him he's good. Yeah, maybe IMDb. Go to IMDb and type in like top 100 movies, IMDb, and use English subtitles. It doesn't matter. Just start watching good movies, good TV shows. Listen to good music. I had one of my students started watching Sex and the City, and it was okay, but it just wasn't his thing. So, he had to. I suggested some other podcasts and movies that he could watch, and now he's watching those, and he's more passionate, or he's enjoying this content more. Instead of reading those academic books, I think watching movie series. Yeah, exactly, because it's fun. It's fun. You have to do what's fun. If I watch a vocabulary video about Japanese or something, if it's 10 minutes long, after 2 minutes, I've already closed YouTube and I'm looking at something on Instagram. It's a waste. But if I'm watching a good Japanese TV show or a good Japanese movie, like, I will sit there and just watch for 2 hours. Even some Japanese TV shows on Netflix, I watched every episode. It's that's 10 hours, 20 hours. And I definitely picked up a few Japanese words from it. So I'm really, really sorry, everyone. Like, I have to go because it's getting too late. But everyone who's in here, if you wanna learn the past tenses in a very interactive way, I'm not a big fan of podcasts. Don't know why. I'm not a sulfur. Okay, I'm not too big on podcasts. Don't know why. They never stuck on. I mean, I watch clips of Joe Rogan from time to time on YouTube, among other podcast clips. Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone has their own. It's hard for me to give you a podcast, or give you a TV show, or give you a movie, because you're going to connect with the thing you connect with. So I think you really just have to go off, search for something, and follow that topic as far as you can go, and maybe branch off from that one topic. Let me think. What's the last thing? Oh yeah, what I was saying is, everyone here, me and Sulfur, we were practicing grammar for like 1 hour, most of the past tenses. So if you want, you can go back to the beginning of this live stream and you can watch me and Sulfur doing question answer grammar with all the past tenses. And, you know, you can try and answer the questions yourself and see if you see how correct you are, because along the way, me and Sulfur, we were talking about the function of the grammar, why each piece of grammar was being used in each situation. So from tomorrow, I'm going to watch series and practice acting like them. That is the way. That really is the way. Prasida, that is the way to do it. I mean, that's the way we natives do it in English. When we're younger, we watch series and we act like them. When I was younger, I was watching. What was I watching? Like, do you remember Jean-Claude Van Damme, Sylvester Stallone movies, karate movies, The Karate Kid, and then yeah. So it was so much fun. I was watching the movie. Naturally, I'm building my vocabulary as a kid. Because I'm so interested in The Karate Kid, the movie. Oh, it's so cool. After the movie, I'm trying to act like the characters. Yeah, I'm trying to jump off the walls, see how high I can fall and still survive. And me and my friends were beating each other up. But that's the way to do it, Prasida. Is watch TV series, practice acting like them, how they talk, and the accent. There's many pronunciation methods. There's phonetics. These ridiculous. I think they're ridiculous phonetic symbols. You're just adding an extra layer of difficulty. The best thing is shadow speaking. Get a video with an accent you like. Play, pause, imitate. Play, pause, imitate. Play, pause, imitate. Play, pause, repeat. It's a simple method. It's just, I think very often the solution is really simple. It's just you got to do hours and hours and hours and hours of this simple solution, which is play, pause, imitate. But everyone, I'm really sorry. So far, thank you so much. You saved me, because if you weren't here, I would be talking. That's a conditional. If you weren't here, I would have been talking to myself for 1 hour. Which conditional is that? If you hadn't been here, I would have been talking to myself for 1 hour. I wish to talk like you are so fluent, but I was born speaking English. A lot of words appear in mind, but while talking, I forget all those things. Yeah, that's the really tough one, is the output speaking. But a lot of people really, I think, input type. Yeah, exactly. Third conditional. Yeah, I think of it like it's past hypothetical, past conditional. If you hadn't been here before, I would have been talking to myself before. Yeah. Third conditional, it's past hypothetical. First conditional is future hypothetical. Second conditional is general fact hypothetical. But yeah, Prasida, the answer here is I wish to talk like you are so fluent. A lot of words. I think the answer is really, I mean, if you really want to do that, it has to be all English all the time. Unfortunately, I feel bad saying that, because your native language, I mean, well, yeah, if you want to be really fluent, that's what I've seen polyglots do, and language enthusiasts. They, you know, there's one American guy, he's very famous, Matt versus Japan. And he was growing up in America. When he was in university, when he was 17 or something like that, he just decided he was going to become fluent in Japanese. So he did all Japanese all the time, every day, all Japanese all the time, even though he was living in America, all day, every day. I think in university, all day. Well, maybe when he finished class, it was just anime, Japanese TV shows, Japanese movies, maybe reading manga. But for him, it was just, see, yeah, that's what I really got from him, is he just simply enjoyed anime. and just watched and watched and consumed the best anime, the best Japanese TV shows, the best movies, Japanese movies, the best Japanese books. He did all Japanese all the time. And I've seen interviews where that he does with native Japanese people, and they consider him as almost native Japanese in his pronunciation. And he did all of that just with input. Exactly, sulfur. Yeah, total weeb. Um, yeah, that's the thing with Japan. Everyone loves Japan at the moment. Even I love Japan, but I feel like if I go there, they're gonna say, "Weeb, what are you doing here, weeb?" It's difficult to love Japan without being a weeb. I recently gave my IELTS exam and got too low score. But Prasida, I'm telling you, the one method you gotta all English all the time. Have fun in English. Movies, TV shows, music. Because you have all this vocabulary flying at you nonstop. I'll give you one last example and then I have to go. I had a student recently and she was studying for the IELTS. She got really, really frustrated and she couldn't speak. She couldn't answer the IELTS questions during class. She was getting too frustrated with the IELTS. So I said to her, okay, forget the IELTS. This weekend, your homework is you have to watch as many TV shows. You have to watch as many TV shows or find a good TV show or watch some movies. So she decided to watch Sherlock Holmes, the TV show. And she watched it for hours and hours for 2 days on the weekend. Then she came to class and I asked her random IELTS questions and she was like way more fluent than the class before. Because what I think is happening is for 2 days, she just had English vocabulary coming at her in the TV show. And all this English vocabulary was just filling her mind. And it put her, she was in a good mood. She was relaxed. She was having fun and just lots and lots of English vocabulary and lots of repeating English vocabulary. You know, a lot of vocabulary repeats and repeats and repeats. The more you watch TV shows, the more you watch movies, you are seeing that vocabulary again and again and again in different contexts. And that vocabulary is repeating. So it's becoming more solid in your mind. So I really think the input method, where you just enjoy a huge, huge amount of content in English, is the best way to really improve. Even for the IELTS, I believe it's the best way. I saw it with my student. So Prasida, you said, so for best of luck, buddy. Thanks very much. Prasida, you too. Best of luck for you. And I'm really sorry. I'll be sitting my IELTS test at the end of the year. Yeah, Sulfur, if you can use some of this interesting grammar that we did today, like I should have done this, I could have done this, this must have happened. If you can throw these interesting grammar tenses into your IELTS, for me, they're quick and easy scores. So somehow, if you can, try and practice this question answer grammar with yourself. You know, the way we did today, or even, you could go back to the beginning of this video and for every question, you could change your answer. You could give a different answer, but just use good grammar. But everyone, I'm really, really sorry because it's very, very late here. It's like nearly 1 a.m. So I have to go. But if you want to review the grammar, go back to the beginning of the live stream and I go through nearly all the past tenses. And then I think for the next stream, I will finish the other past tenses and then I will go to the future tenses. I think, Prasida, I think it's this time. Just think like somewhere this time. Whenever I'm free, I'm going to do this. So just have a look out. And yeah, what's happening is I teach all day and then I eat, shower, clean the kitchen and apartment, and then I have 1 hour to sit down. And okay, good night, Sulfur. I'll see you soon, hopefully. Thanks for doing the training, the grammar training with me. And okay, everyone, I have to go. But yeah, next time I'll finish the past tenses and then I will hopefully move on to all the future tenses, because there's a lot of future tenses. It's not just will and I'm going to, it's present simple. Like, for example, the train arrives at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Um, I'm flying with France Air or British Airways, present continuous. Then there's I will do, I will be doing, I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be doing. So that's 6 grammar tenses for the future already. Then there's modals for the future. I should do this tomorrow. I could do this. I must do this. I might do this. So there's really like 15 or 20 future tenses. But anyway, okay. Good night, everyone. I'll be asking you more tips tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe tomorrow, Prasina. I'll see. But I have 2 live videos like this. You can go back and watch to get all the grammar. And I'll do more in the future. Okay, bye everyone. Good stuff. Speak soon. Ciao. Adios. Sayonara. Oyasumi. Zaijian. Yeah, that's all I have. Ciao.